picture a world trembling on the edge of change, where one woman's voice rises above the noise, calling us to reconnect with the earth and each other. That voice belongs to Joanna Macy, a philosopher, activist, and scholar whose life was a radiant thread in the tapestry of human awakening. Born on May 2, 1929, in New York City, Joanna Macy lived for 96 years, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire millions to face the world's crises with courage and love. Today, we'll weave through the rich story of her life, her age, her family, her net worth, her lifestyle, and the gentle passing that marked the end of her extraordinary journey on July 19, 2025. This is a tale of a woman who taught us to embrace our pain for the planet, to transform despair into action, and to live as if the earth itself were speaking through us. So, settle in, and let's honor the life of a true visionary. Joanna's story begins in a liberal Protestant household, where the seeds of service and spirituality were planted early. Her grandfather, a congregational preacher, passed down a legacy of faith that shaped her childhood in New York City. She attended the Lycée Français de New York from 1938 to 1946, excelling in her studies, before earning a BA in Biblical History from Wellesley College in 1950. Her academic journey culminated in a PhD in religious studies from Syracuse University in 1978, where her groundbreaking dissertation, Mutual Causality in Buddhism and General Systems Theory, fused Buddhist principles with modern science, laying the foundation for her life's work. At 96, Joanna passed away in Berkeley, California, her home for decades, surrounded by her children and grandchildren. Her death followed a fall that resulted in a broken hip, a surgery, and a subsequent battle with pneumonia. With the clarity and grace that defined her, Joanna chose home hospice over further hospital treatment, slipping away peacefully on July 19, 2025, as tributes poured in from around the world, calling her a beacon of hope and a tireless voice for the earth. Family was the heartbeat of Joanna's life, grounding her through decades of global activism. She married Francis Underhill Macy, a Russian scholar and activist who founded the Center for Safe Energy, in 1953. Their 56-year marriage was a partnership of shared purpose, taking them to post-colonial India from 1964 to 1969, where Francis served as a Peace Corps director. Together, they raised 3 children: Peggy, Christopher, and Jack, amid the vibrant chaos of India, working alongside Tibetan refugees, including the Dalai Lama. This experience ignited Joanna's lifelong engagement with Buddhism, which would shape her teachings. Francis's death in 2009 left a profound void, but Joanna found strength in her children and grandchildren, who remained close in Berkeley. Her family extended beyond blood, encompassing a global network of students, activists, and facilitators of her Work That Reconnects, a community she nurtured with the warmth of a mother and the wisdom of an elder. Joanna's lifestyle was a reflection of her philosophy: simple, intentional, and deeply connected to the earth. Living in Berkeley, she created a home that was both a sanctuary and a hub for her work, hosting workshops and writing sessions that drew people from across the globe. Her days were filled with teaching, writing, and leading retreats, from the United States to Japan, Russia, and Sri Lanka. She authored 17 books, including World as Lover, World as Self, Active Hope, and translations of Rainer Maria Rilke's poetry with Anita Barrows, whose lines like "I live my life in widening circles" became an anthem for her expansive vision. Despite her global reach, Joanna lived modestly, her home filled with books, art, and the quiet beauty of a life dedicated to meaning over materialism. Her love for poetry, sparked by a teenage encounter with Muriel Rukeyser, who invited her to sit at her feet during a reading, infused her work with a lyrical quality. She traveled light, carrying her teachings in her heart, and her workshops were known for their emotional depth, guiding participants through gratitude, grief, and action. Her net worth, estimated between $1 million and $9 million, was a modest reflection of a career built on purpose rather than profit. Her wealth came from her books, speaking engagements, and adjunct professorships at institutions like the California Institute of Integral Studies, Starr King School for the Ministry, and Naropa University, where the Joanna Macy Center for Resilience and Regeneration carries her legacy forward. She received honorary degrees and the first Pioneer's Lifetime Contribution Award in 2013, but her true riches lay in the lives she touched. Joanna donated generously to causes like anti-nuclear activism and environmental justice, embodying her belief that if the world is to be healed, it will be by ordinary people whose love for life is greater than their fear. Her financial success was secondary to her mission, a testament to a life lived in service to the planet and its people. Joanna's biography is a story of transformation, woven from diverse threads. Her early years hinted at an unconventional path. Working briefly for the CIA in Cold War Germany before moving to India, where her encounters with Tibetan refugees in 1965 introduced her to Buddhism. Teachers like the 8th Kamtrul Rinpoche and Theravada masters Nyanaponika Thera and Dairavamsa shaped her spiritual practice, while systems thinkers like Ervin Laszlo and Gregory Bateson influenced her intellectual framework. Her Work That Reconnects, originally called Despair and Empowerment Work, emerged in the 1970s as a response to the nuclear age, evolving into a global movement after she collaborated with deep ecologists Arne Naess and John Seed. This spiral process, gratitude, honoring pain, seeing with new eyes, and going forth, became a lifeline for activists facing climate change, species loss, and social injustice. Her anti-nuclear activism, sparked by the staggering implications of radioactive waste, aligned her with Naropa University, where she taught and inspired the creation of the Joanna Macy Center. Her work wasn't just theoretical, it was deeply personal. Joanna's ability to hold space for suffering, both personal and planetary, set her apart. She taught that pain for the world is a portal to compassion, famously saying, "A heart that breaks open can contain the whole universe." Her workshops were transformative, guiding participants to feel the Earth's pain without collapsing into despair. She worked with communities in Africa, where her practices helped decolonize minds and reconnect people with indigenous roots, and in Chernobyl, where she faced the consequences of nuclear devastation head-on. Her translations of Rilke's poetry, with lines like "Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror," became a spiritual touchstone for many, reflecting her belief in embracing all aspects of existence. Joanna's influence reached far beyond her workshops. She mentored countless activists, from Naropa students to African leaders, and her writings inspired movements for peace and ecological justice. Her books, like Coming Back to Life and A Wild Love for the World, are still celebrated, with one ex-post noting their enduring power to awaken hope. Her activism began in the 1970s with anti-nuclear campaigns and grew to encompass climate change and social justice, always rooted in her Buddhist practice of interdependent co-arising. She faced criticism from academic circles for blending spirituality with science but remained undeterred, calling her work the work that reconnects to distance it from academic disputes. Her resilience shone through in her later years, as she continued teaching into her 90s, even as she grieved Francis's death and faced her own mortality. The news of Joanna's passing sparked an outpouring of love on social media. One friend wrote, "Joanna truly loves every drop of life," while another called her a beacon of hope for the despairing. Daily vigils in her honor, from Vietnam to Latin America, reflect the global reach of her work. Her death, though a loss, feels like a continuation. Her teachings live on through the Work That Reconnects network, Naropa's Joanna Macy Center, and the countless individuals she inspired. As one ex-post said, her work lives on in our hearts, our actions, and our connectedness. Joanna faced the world's crises with unflinching honesty, teaching that suffering is real but can be alchemized into action. Her life was a call to be present, to love fiercely, and to act boldly. As we close this journey through Joanna Macy's life, we're left with her words: "To be alive in this beautiful, self-organizing universe is a wonder beyond words." Her legacy is a challenge to feel the world's pain, to act with courage, and to love without fear. From her childhood in New York to her final days in Berkeley, Joanna lived as an earthling, deeply enmeshed in the web of life. If her story stirs something in you, if her call to action resonates, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of those who've shaped our world. Thank you for joining me in celebrating Joanna Macy, a true guardian of the earth, and until next time, let's keep her vision alive.